Okay folks, how you doing? This is me. One of the hardest things I have to do is trying to pick the best 11 that you've played with. I think it'll be heavily influenced by the Celtic players that I think I've got a good bit of success for, but there are a couple that will be, maybe, a lot of you all know who they are, but well-known names. But starting will be in goals will be Mr Andy Goram, who was an exceptional goalkeeper. I've been blessed with playing so many at Celtic for so many years at St Mirren, then at Chelsea, Big Besson. Maybe not the best goalkeeper, but without a doubt the most consistent player. Yeah. Best reflexes, I think you probably included him in your best.
He's in my team as well. Yeah, I played with my Oldham, but then he went on to a great career after that, Tom. So I've chosen him as well.
Well, obviously it was international here at Hampden and the museum, and probably Wrexham played alongside him on many occasions. So Andy Goram, I think, would be my number one. The difficulty is trying to accommodate everybody within the system, and for that I'm going to go for a 3-5-2, and I'll tell you explain that as I go on to put one of my players to do that. So at the three backs of, I'm going to pick three centres and defenders, they've always got to be very comfortable in those areas, especially the two wide guys have got to be very comfortable of going into wide areas and full back areas. So for that point of view, my first guy is a guy who was the most determined centre back I've ever had. It was just great to be in the team, a very bubbly character, very loud, and that was Mark Wieper. Mark played international football for Denmark and was an inspiration. He was a totally committed football player. He was somebody who just had a great desire and a will to win. So Mark would have been in that as a right-sided centre-back. In the central areas, I picked somebody who would have to be very comfortable on the ball. He could have a great range of people, but could range again. Not the quickest of guys, but that was Alan Stubbs. And Alan Stubbs would be in there as the sweeper type playmaker. He was great from defence. He was somebody who I played alongside for a couple of years and was unfortunately at Celtic lost a good period of his time through injury. But then went on to play for Everton. But he was somebody who could control a game from the back and make a good range of passing. On the other side was a guy, again like Wieper and Stubbs, very determined, a Scandinavian like Wieper, but somebody who was more converted from being a midfielder, but blonde guy, converted to a midfielder, but I felt his best position was at centre back, and that would be Johan Mjällby. Yeah, very. He's quite famous, I think, he scored against England, so that was good enough to get my team if we did that. So if there's any English people here watching, but Big Johan scored, I'm sure it was a winning goal against England, but anyway, that would be the back.
You've got a big strong back three.
Well, you've got it. That'll be the height. There's other guys in the team that'll help that, but certainly the centre backs have got to be, they're all determined, no many of them get beaten there at the back, and so they're obviously good for set pieces, but more importantly, they can defend. Defend is first and foremost. So on we're going for the 5 across the back. On the right hand side, very close, I'll go with wing back systems, which was very predominant in my time, certainly with Scotland when I was playing a lot of time in Scotland. But there was a guy who came in who was converted from being a striker at his time. I think he was at Raith Rovers, wasn't he? And he actually was the fastest things in two legs. Didier Agathe. Not the best defender, but he could tackle. He didn't have to tackle, but he could tackle. And it just through his pace, he got himself into position. And he was excellent in that position.
I mean, also did a lot of running in that position.
Well, and he was fit. The other guy I was possibly thinking about was Jackie McNamara, who could play there as well. But Didier Agathe, what's his name? He was, as you say, a quiet spoken guy, but just somebody who could run all day, but his pace was absolutely fit. I don't think I've seen anybody beat him apart from myself. Probably myself, Gordon, he was in there. So in the midfield areas, somebody who would be, of the two, probably maybe sitting midfielders, but could score goals as well, and could play in attacking sense. Because I like that as midfielders. I know you get some people who do like having midfielders who can just break up the play. That's a job. I would like both. I would like to be an attacking minded midfield. And in that place, there's somebody who's in Celtic's greatest ever team, and that was a Mr. Paul McStay. Paul was played with me in the Celtic, Scotland, played against him when I was at Motherwell, but somebody who controlled the game, scored some fantastic goals, and was a Celtic legend. He was somebody who could see a range of passing, but could dig a little bit when he needed to be. And alongside Paul was somebody who won a European Cup, who could control the game. Just missed out playing with him at Motherwell. I think he followed just a couple of seasons after me. But a guy who left Motherwell and went to a trial with the German team and ended up winning the European Cup. Paul Lambert. Paul Lambert would be in there as well. And somebody who helped myself win a couple of trophies here. I remember he did take a wee while to settle in at Celtic. The first couple of starts didn't do so well, but then showed his class. And I think we've seen so many wonderful goals. On the left hand side was a little bit of difficulty because of the system I'm playing and because it's wing backs. I believe that you had a player who he came, and when I was at Motherwell, he transformed Motherwell with his ability and his thing, his skill. But the only reason I'm not playing for him is because it's a wing back role. He didn't have the power or the pace that a Gat would get up and down that line.
Absolutely, he wasn't defensive at all.
Wasn't defensive mind at all. So for that reason only, I know you can accommodate even other areas, but there's other players in there. I'll go for Alan Thompson on the left hand side. Somebody who, for starting, he didn't probably preferred playing in the middle, but he was outstanding in there as a wing back. I get thought, when I used to play as a wing back for Scotland and Motherwell and occasionally Celtic, I always felt that a defender would be the proper choice to be as a wing back, but it was Martin O'Neill who changed my thought on that, and it was a Gat and Thompson who did that. It's not only they kick in, you get two guys in here, sitting midfielders who can go cover as well, so you get five guys mainly, but the basic guy, Thompson, was quick, he's not the quickest boy, but he was an
attacking player though.
He was an attack-minded player, so Gat and Thompson, both attack-minded players, and it also gives you that, when you get to that attacking sense, you need that bit of skill and ability to go with players. But he was a big game player. He did it in so many big games and scored goals, so important goals. He could take free kicks as well. Just a fantastic player. And the main reason why I'm playing all this system of 3-4-5-2 is to have this guy in. And he's a guy who was the most comfortable guy on 2 feet that I've ever seen. Somebody with great ability, came to a later stage in his career to Celtic, but had fantastic skills, and somebody who would certainly liven up a crowd, and that was Ludo Maracic.
That's the use of I remember Tom when he came over, it was useless.
Remember
that?
And transfer fees.
Once they'd seen him, he was like, wow.
Well, it was that comfortable that you couldn't tell what foot it was. We've seen him in training, that would be left foot, right foot for corners, set pieces, whatever, living the position. And it was just absolutely fantastic. I do remember setting up a wee goal from my head right off, but I was a rarity. But he was a wonderful guy, but more importantly, great skill and great ability. For a guy like somebody called Zinedine Zidane says he was the best player that he's ever seen in terms of skill and ability. Well, that surely he's got to be.
That says all of it.
And then we go to the main part of the team, basically strikers who score you the goals and win you the games. Gordon was one of them, he'd done that on many occasions. So first stop here was a guy who came up in 2001, and it was at the time that Martin came and was to be able to get a little bit of money to be afforded to get quality players. And somebody who had just failed at the last club he was at Chelsea, and that was Chris Sutton. Chris Sutton could also play centre back, but he hated it. And I don't think he really enjoyed playing there. But for more importantly, the formidable partnership they formed with the other striker. But Chris Sutton came up here. I think he got for a song. It was I think 6 million roughly at the time. But he came up here, just needed a bit of confidence. He was outstanding at Norwich, outstanding at Blackburn, got trophies at Blackburn. The league, the first time Blackburn winner. Played alongside another absolute superb Shearer. I remember picking him as a player of the year when I was on at Chelsea. I'd only seen him play 6 months and I thought he was that good.
They were a great partnership.
Well, exactly. Well, they formed a formidable partnership, and that's the debate of who was his best partner.
Whether it was the man you're about to pick.
This guy, and I think you're going to
absolutely,
and that's Henrik Larsson. Now, this guy is in the team. They're very slow, but we'll not talk about his first pass that everybody slags him about because he went and he repaid that many times over. But it's not just for his goal scoring, which was phenomenal. He was also a great team player. He would hockey socks. Now you get some centre forwards who sometimes they're prima donnas, you know, and just get it within the ball. You love my Matt Gordon, you know.
Saying that because of you.
Exactly. But he can also create goals as well.
Oh,
He takes the occasional free kick, but he can certainly create goals. And certainly the partnership that he formed with Sterling that year in 2000.
Great year for his height as well.
Oh, a strong, very, very strong.
Yes.
He looked a slight build, but he could jump, he was strong.
His timing was unbelievable.
The amount of goals he scored, the leaks and headers and stuff, you know. So that'd be my team. We've been goal, Andy Gorham, back three of Reaper, Stubbs and Mjällby. A midfield five of Agat, McStay, Maracic and Thompson. Up front is Sutton and Larsson.